Hello, this is Shauna with Soymilkmuse, and I'm just catching up on the last week of this past week of Defember, not the last week. That will be not until the 29th, but so on the 8th and the 9th and the 11th and the 12th, we had Snippets and Grandma's buttons. So I put my jar of my grandma's buttons, but these ones I'm too sentimental to actually use my grandma's buttons. So I have this box. Oops, jeez, it's heavy. Of buttons. I thrifted this. I didn't write that. It was like that when I found it. And I have added other buttons that I've purchased and thrifted to this box. So yeah. I also have a small box of my mom's buttons that I also don't really dig out for such things, but I love buttons. There's so many that are so pretty, you know? Like, that's one I bought, because how can you not buy that, right? It's so sparkly. All right, so we'll play with those. And altered envelope and coffee mug stains. I brought along some things to do that. Leaves an envelope and owl. Got a couple things for that, and the bookmark and clear packaging as well. So let's start with a snippet and some buttons. I was very busy this last week finishing up the Christmas shopping and getting everything shipped, and so that was quite time consuming for me. So I didn't have an opportunity to do much more than watch the videos, and I did play around a little bit with some things, but that's pretty much all I did as far as crafting. So I'm going to work on snippet with buttons for this journal that I'm working on. I did make that envelope, but it doesn't have any coffee stains on it. Okay, let's find some buttons we think will work. These aren't too bad, but are they blue or black? I think they look more black than blue. I don't know. That's a maybe. And I have these tiny ones. They're super cute. They're more gray. Maybe a gray blue, perhaps. These are definitely blue. That's brown. Oh, there's a black one. And there's a black one. Let's see. Let me push this a little bit forward so you can see the cute buttons. Another black one. It's black. Are these black or are they blue? I think they're black. So I don't know how many I want to do actually for this journal. It's the only one I'm currently working in that feels like buttons are appropriate. I mean, you could put buttons in anything, but there's some tiny little black ones. Is there anything on the back? Look like vintage ones. Let's see what else. Got some gold ones. Actually, those might be cute. I'm working on a pirate journal too. I don't think I've busted it out to show. It's in its box on the shelf with all its accoutrement, but I think these might be cute to put in there because they look like coins. I can't read it. What does that say? I'll have to get a magnifying glass to read them. But let's put those back in here for now. I love these. Those are just pretty. Okay. All right. That's another neat one. It's wood. Well, it looks like wood. That's plastic. But... Okay. Let's start there. These are still, when they're in the light, they still look a little bit blue to me. Maybe if I put them on something white, I can tell. Next to the black ones. I'm pretty sure they're black. Okay, close enough. Close enough. Let's put this out of the way. Okay. Now, I was thinking, since I do actually have some white in this journal, I should have put those back too. Oh well. That it might be kind of cute to use this, although I could ink it up a bit too. And I thought about stitching them on, but my machine's across the room. If I wanted to stitch the laces together, and then I would hand stitch the buttons on, but that's very time consuming. So I think I'm just going to glue them, and then if I decide to later, I can come back and stitch them on by hand. Some black lace. Let's see. There, I can see that better. That's kind of cute. And then this purple lace, it's more of a vintage looking one. Let's see, we need at least 1 page length, right? Let's take this edge off. Whoops, my ring stuck in there. Usually it'll tear okay. I might lose half of it with this one. Goodness. Maybe I should have gone from the other direction. Okay, now let's trim these super long edges off here. There we go. Into the bin with that. Let's see what we think about that. I think it would be cuter maybe on top. Because I think if I put it beneath, it's not going to show as much. I think I need to cut some of this. So let's... Oh, it's not exactly a snippet if you make it already the length of a page, but you can always change my mind and cut pieces off. Okay. Oh, yeah, we've only got about, yeah, we don't even have 3 whole pages long, so let's do this in half, and we'll have short snippets. There we go. And then the decision of if we want to ink this at all. And which way does it go? I think like that. I don't think it matters too much. It's very, very similar on both sides. Okay. So then top or bottom? What do we think? I think maybe the black one under. And I got purple. I think I kind of like the narrower part, actually. Where would I put my scissors now? There we go. bit on the short side, but that's okay. Maybe I'm going to ink up one of these. Let's see. Maybe vintage photo. If I have it out. I think I do. I still have it out from the other day. Yep, here we are. Okay. Let's get these other ones out of the way so we don't get them all inky. That's better, huh? I can work with white. I sometimes enjoy it, but it has to be just right. Like I did a black and white journal that was really fun, and it was also a bubble mailer like this one for a base in there. I like how crunchy they sound. Oop. Okay, so let's get this under there. It still feels like the right way. I'm just gonna take some Fabrifix, and actually I'm gonna use this underneath. I was playing with my jelly plate today, so it's I kind of washed it. I was using my brayer and my paint on there. And I'm just gonna tack this a bit, because when it gets glued down, wherever it's getting glued down, there will be more glue that will seep through, and or if it gets stitched to something, that would also hold it pretty well. There we go. Cute. And then I think I'm just gonna take these and smack them down. And they were somebody's grandma's buttons, I'm sure, a lot of these. Leave enough space in case I want to cut them apart to use for something. And this is Fabrifix glue that I'm using. Let's see, another little one. There we go. Maybe there. See, that one still looks blue to me. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't think it matters that much. Not truly. And then one more. And there we go. And that's pretty cute. Let's see that on a page edge somewhere. I mean, this is here. We'll try it on one of my jelly prints today. That would be pretty, huh? Now I'm rethinking how many of my journals are appropriate for buttons that I'm currently making. Probably more of them than I realized. That's cute. All right. One for the stash. And then these guys. I think just one for the journal I'm working on. Maybe I will actually use them more as embellishments or page tabs or something. I think. And do I want to leave that white, or do I want to make it purple? I think I want to leave it white. Oops, that's not what I was doing. I should film in the morning instead of it's evening now and I'm getting to that point of tired. Put that in the bin. Okay. So let's see. Let's just do this real quick. I definitely like the black buttons on here. Okay. Good enough. Okay. A baby wipe on my fingers. Alright. And then a dry baby wipe just to press this down. There we go. Plenty good. And then some buttons. These come together so fast. And you could do so much more with them. Adding paper or whatever. But for me, for now, this will do just fine. Okay. So I've got those. And then I kind of want to do something fun with this one. But I also really like the back, and I kind of don't want to hide that. 60 cents. Definitely been a while since you would pay 60 cents for a card of buttons. And there probably were at least 8, I would think, on this card. Yeah, 8 count. So yeah, this is only half of what was there. Maybe on this one I could add a brad in the corner and use it on like one of the tags that you have the pieces that spin. Like I saw that on Shabby Debbie Doodah's channel. That could be cute because then you could still see the back. Yep. I'll save those for that. So that's all the buttons I had out. So that's what we're going to do right now. But I will continue this later. Let me put this behind me. Let's see how long we've been filming. Oh goodness, 18 minutes already. I don't know if we're going to get through 4 things, but we'll see. Pardon me. Oh, I was looking all over for this. It's right here. Okay. Well, not the right pen, but that's okay too. All right. Altered envelope and coffee mug stains. Let's find something to do with that. Now this, actually, I accidentally did the other morning. I had mail on the dining room table and I set my coffee cup down on it. So that's an authentic coffee. Authentic coffee ring. Unfortunately, it also got something else from the dining room table in there that I think it looks like some kind of oil. And that's not good in junk journals. So I need to decide what I want to do with that. Do I want to cut the whole thing in half or do I want to just remove that bottom part? I think maybe we'll remove that to that point. Okay. And then make sure there's no other oil on there. Yep, we're good. We're good. Okay. And then I have no idea what journal I want to put this one in, so I'm just gonna play. Just gonna play. Which ink? Which ink? I've got all my pinks out, or well, purples. Let's do vintage photo. Yep, since we were already working with that one. And I also brought along this little demi-tasse and some coffee dye. So we could add more, actually. And I was actually thinking that I wanted to use these teeny tiny envelopes that I have that are so cute. And that's partly why the demi-tasse, because it's so tiny. Okay, let's just go ahead and play with what we've got right now. Let's ink this up and then figure out what we're gonna do with it. Oh, what was the... Yeah. Okay. Altered envelope and coffee mug stains. We basically have it right now. It's altered and it's coffee stain. Okay. I think I'm going to cover the back. But let's kind of ink the edge anyway, just because we can. And then we'll see what I've got for pretty paper hanging out on my desk, or book page. Book page would do. There, that way if our paper or glue doesn't go all the way to the edge, we can still have a nice inked edge. Let's kind of repair this a little bit. Coming off, try not to glue the envelope together at the top. I'm going to leave it as a pocket in the top. And actually, may not even have to cover the back, really. What if we fold it here? Right? And then it can go be a double pocket around a page, you know, like that. I like that. I like that. And then to fix the bottom of this, perhaps some washi. Oops. Grab a random drawer. This is one of my favorites. It's not very wide, but I don't think it needs to be. I like that one, but I also like this blue one. What else? Oh, I've got these foresty ones too. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my first impression in the interest of time. Put this one back. Okay, but do we want to cover behind there first? Yes. And if we're going for one of those, see if any of the, ooh, yeah, how about this? So that was just my first pull on the washi, the jelly plate. I just did gold on there. I was breaking in a new plate. I had never played with one before today, and I bought it months ago. And you know how it goes. We see all the things on YouTube, and we have to buy all the things to play with all the stuff. So yeah, that's what happened. Don't regret it. Let's see, that needs to come all the way to the edge. So we'll cut that edge off. And I think that's going to be fine like that. So, here, this might be a better idea, huh? We'll go like that. And I'm gonna do just a little bit inside of that. And then just a little bit above this. Well, I think it needs to come all the way down. Okay. Let's fold that. And then trim along. Because I was using some printer paper that I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever use it. I have kind of an idea for it, but how much of it I'll use, I'm not sure. So it's like, well, I can use it for pretty things on the other side of it. Okay, and then which one did I eat? Isn't that one? I think it's that one. Yeah, okay. And I can see my mark there. Okay, where to go? There it is. Here. Make sure we're lined up here. Oh, it feels so nice, the paper, like with the paint on it. I just really like that. Okay. And once it goes in there, that'll be cute. Maybe we should turn it this way. No, but then we're gonna have to, maybe we could cover the bottom part with washi. There we go. I want to see if this, I think it's actually damaged. Yeah, it's a little bit melted. That'll be fine. Maybe die cut or something on there. Pardon me. Goodness. All right, let's get that glued in. I'm going to glue just the top. I don't think it's really necessary to glue the whole thing unless you're worried about, you know, structural integrity. Okay, and then do we want to use the complementary blue or do we want to use this? I like them both. It might be slightly more neutral with this one. I don't do a lot with blue, but I do have a journal I've kind of been thinking about working on with blue, but I'm not sure this is the right aesthetic for it either. So here we go. It goes this one. Process of elimination. All right, and I'm gonna use find it. I'm gonna use this. I got this at Dollar Tree, and I've only tried it a few times. It's Aleene's Industrial Strength Glue Stick, permanent low odor, no residue. I'm just gonna reinforce my washi with it. And considering this is probably gonna stay in my stash, you know, for a while, we'll see how well it works. right. Just gonna run it along here. Woo! Chunk. It's dug a chunk right out of it. Okay. Wipe my fingers off. Let's try to get it as close to that edge as we can. And then come down here. Oh, come on. I think it needs to be a little bit higher. Boop. Here to here. That's not bad. Okay. Oops. Flip it over. That's so off. That is so off. Okay. Try again. Eyeball. I do better eyeballing than trying to line it up. Isn't that the way it goes? Okay. Get that folded over. I could always stitch that too after it's nice and dry. I might actually do that. Let's dry that off a little. Recap the glue stick. Always looking for a new glue stick. I'm nearly out of my Scotch Permanent glue stick, which is usually what I reach for if I'm going to use one. But yeah, I used to get it at Staples. It was like $5 for one of those big ones. But my local Staples has not had it recently. And where I found it on Amazon is more than I'm willing to pay. So there we go. So it's not done, but it will need to be modified for whatever journal it ends up living in. And it could be glued down on one side, and then one side could be, you know, a flip and just cover the back. But I think that's pretty cute. Okay, let's alter another one just because I want to. And I'm gonna use, could use this again, actually. I kind of like that. That way is probably a little better. So let's measure. Well, not exactly. We're kind of lining up. That's what we're doing. Lining up and folding. And then trimming. Because we want to sit just inside the envelope. See if I did it narrow enough here. Ooh, yeah. Perfect. Ha! Oh, that's gonna be pretty. Okay, and we don't really need to go all the way down unless it's gonna be like super visible through the envelope. So I'm gonna ink it first, right around here. I always like to cover the inside of envelopes, and especially because of the glue stuff. I don't know if you've ever had like a box of envelopes for a while and you go back to get one out and use it and they're all stuck together from the moisture in the air, especially if you live, you know, somewhere humid. That happens a lot. So I just like to cover it up. I don't want to come back to my journal one day and find my envelopes stuck together. I really only need to glue the top. The inside's not going to go anywhere. Once again, you know, unless you really need to reinforce the envelope itself. These are really sturdy, so I'm not worried. But this way also, when you open and close, its movement's not restricted. It can actually slide slightly inside here, and it just works better, I think. Aha! Okay. There we go. I'm full of noises today, aren't I? Okay, trim. assume I'm in frame here. I'm just going to follow the edge of this envelope. Save that for collage. And then, not sure how well this ink will stick to the acrylic paint, but that's okay. Oh, maybe we'll have a vintage gold envelope. That could be fun. Journal, I mean. Cute. All right. Ooh, there's a couple more spots I need to ink on there. Need some kind of a scrap here. That's not a big enough scrap. We use this packing paper. There we go. Just ink that a little bit around the edge. Right there, and then maybe these edges here, kind of close, and then run it over like that. I like that look. Looks a bit more aged that way. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then we need our coffee rings. Tiny coffee mug stains. So I'm pouring a little bit of this coffee mixture into the saucer. And I'm going to use the bottom, I think. I really liked what Luisa did in her video. If you haven't checked that out, it was really cool. She did the stains along the edge and then embossed in gold and then cut out around it. Oh my gosh, it's so cool looking. I might have to try that on a larger envelope. Let's do one with the top of the cup. There's me throwing coffee everywhere. There we go. I'm going to leave it like that. And when it's dry, it will go into my stash with this one. And they'll find a home in a journal. Probably sooner rather than later, because this is really fun. And I might, oops, sorry about my reach there. Might even make some more. Let's see, 38 minutes. Well, that's probably enough for the moment. I was hoping to get through all 4 days, but 40 minutes is probably a long time for most people's attention span. At least it is for mine. So I will try to come back and do day 11 and day 12. And then I will see you guys this next week. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Luisa and Barbara do for the next several, well, for all of them really, but for this week, the next 4 prompts. So yeah, and let's think ahead to forgotten snacks too this week. We'll have to think about that. Plan for it during the week, right? All right. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.